I've had 11 hours sleep and still nothing. Why haven't they got back to me? I've not heard anything from the Rebels, from the Breel, from Sierra, or bloody Mickey Mouse. This is ridiculous. I've traced the signal. I know it's gone to the lunar colony. The satellites have transmitted it, and I even checked on the matrix and saw it leave the sector. It takes about 30 to 40 hours to get to Breel, so why haven't... Oh, yeah, it takes 40 hours to get to Breel, but it'll take 40 hours to get back to me as well. Oh, I swear this place has fried my brain. Right, stop panicking and just pull yourself together. This is a good thing. This means I can record more images before I leave. This is fine. This is good. This is a good thing. Right, this is fine. Yeah, so I was thinking about Seven Wonders Park before I fell asleep last night. I'd forgotten all about it actually, but yeah, that's definitely something I need to record. Yeah, in 2025, when we knew that the sea levels were going to rise, the Ceruleans said they would help. So you already know about London and being moved a kilometre back, and the technology to actually move the monuments and the buildings back as well. Well, that same model was implemented across the globe. And as well as cities, we also had to save our historical monuments. And top of that list was the Pyramids of Giza, obviously. So when we told them about the history of the pyramids, the Ceruleans were interested in the ancient Egyptians, but also the ancient Seven Wonders of the world. And without us knowing, they decided to rebuild the other 6 wonders. In 2026, yeah, it was the year later, yeah, they built the Seven Wonders Park. It's in a tiny little town called Krugersdorp, I think, something just outside Johannesburg, and it's built around this huge lake. And they put the Pyramids of Giza at one side, and you could see the reflections on the lake, and then everything else, the other 6 wonders around there. And the reason they did this was because at the time the whole world was really scared that, well, a lot of the population were going to lose their homes. And although huge skyscrapers had been built and floating islands had been built and new towns had been built and cities had been built in Africa, people were still scared about having to leave their home. A lot of people wanted, if we had the technology to move all the monuments and all the big buildings, why couldn't we move their homes as well? But there just wasn't the time to do it. You can't just move 2 billion people's homes as well. So they wanted to do this to show that the human race has survived through a lot of catastrophes and a lot of hardships, but we've always pulled through, and our history is important, and that's why it should be preserved and saved. And so people flocked to this park in Africa, and it was, my gran took me when I was 13. I don't think my father wanted anything to do with the park because the Ceruleans had built it, but yeah, I remember my gran took me, and you could only ride on a boat around the lake. You couldn't walk around, I suppose, so you couldn't ruin any of the ancient monuments. But yeah, so we sat on this boat, and the Colossus of Rhodes was in front of me, and it was just huge. And as you go in, you actually go underneath his legs, and then you see the Pyramids of Giza in front of you, and they're reflecting on the lake, and then the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and they're just, the flowers were everywhere, and it was just incredible to see. And yeah, I think it still stands, because why would anybody have knocked it down? But in case I don't go back or anybody ever returns to Earth, I want to record it all so people can see what we actually achieved in our time on Earth. It's a really incredible place. Oh, and I've got the footage I filmed on this actual camera. It's not very good, but it's personal to me.